a very, very, very important part that you are mentioning in a few of your videos. That is, in my opinion, or just my humble opinion, I can always only speak out of the way I experience stuff, is undervalued in most other channels or advice. And that's why I got hooked on you, honestly, was you concentrated and were honest about the offer has to be good. The ad is the ad. You can have nice creative, you can all of that, good copy, you can have the best strategies, retargeting, the best funnel, complicated or easy, and so on. The offer and the product has to be generally good, because no matter what you do, if the offer is bad, then why should a customer buy it? And it was something so basic and honest that is so completely overlooked by a huge load of people. I don't know why. And so how I would like just to give you a bit of time frame here to like reiterate that, to tell the customer, and not the customers, my audience and people, like, how did you get to that point where you realized, hey man, the offer is important? And how do you try, or do you try at all, to give your customers and clients like feedback on, is that a good offer or not?
Yeah, definitely. We work on that a lot because it's just so important. It doesn't matter how bad your ad campaign is. If you've got a fantastic offer, it will sell. Like the classic example would be if I'm giving away $20 notes for $10, that doesn't matter how bad your targeting is or your ad create. It could be the worst little image ever. It's going to work really well, right? Whereas the inverse, it just doesn't work. It doesn't matter how beautiful your ad creative is. If the offer, what people are getting at the end of the day, is not good, then it's just not going to work. And I think the reason why people have this attitude towards something like Facebook ads, and they just think, why aren't I getting customers, is they don't necessarily see it as advertising to real people. There's a disconnect where they almost look at it like a video game, and they think that it's, computer units that are taking action. They're like, no, these are real people on the other end of it. So I've had lots of conversations with clients over the years where they'll say something like, oh, we didn't have very good results this weekend. And let's say they're in a country like the UK, right? And they're selling something that is summer related. Could be sunglasses or flip-flops. I mean, we've worked with like every business you can imagine at this point. And they'll have really bad results every weekend. And it will be, let's say, June. And you go, well, it rained all Saturday and all Sunday, right? And they sort of look at you and go, that hadn't crossed their mind. And I think that's because they're not thinking of this as you're advertising to real people. So if someone sat there inside on their phone and it's raining outside, they're going, I'm not buying any sunglasses or flip-flops. Whereas if it was really hot and they were too hot in their regular shoes, or they got their old flip-flops out and they'd fallen apart, they need a new pair, that makes a big difference. I think that there's that disconnect between the fact that you are advertising to real people and real world events affect them. And that comes into the offer, because if you start thinking, okay, I'm advertising to a real person, what would a real person go ahead and sign up for here? Because is what I'm offering great, or can they just go over to Amazon and find a better product for like $10 cheaper, which is often the case when ads don't succeed, is because they can just go over to Amazon and find something better. You have to offer something that a real person would say, that's a great deal.
I gotta say, man, that's so powerful. That's so wow, because now that I think about it, after you said it, I think really many people and many customers and clients that I talk to absolutely work under that premise. Like, okay, I'm throwing it out into the digital space, and I pay something, and I want to get X money return. And they also forget stuff like, there's only a finite number of customers you have. It's like, for example, it was a private example with a band. It was like, guys, if you do marketing and you do ads and everything, it will work. You will get people to know about you, but you will burn your brand because you're just not good yet. You're not good. And if it's a small market for a niche music scene, it's like, if you make a million people listen to your music now and your music sucks, it will be hard to convince them in 6 months to come to your concert. Like, that's also a thought that you need to think of to get your brand together, to get your product well. It's like, I didn't think of it as an offer, but more like, there's nothing worse than having a bad product that many, many, many people know about.
Yeah.
Because once it's out that you're shit, then it's really hard to convince anyone to buy anymore. So sometimes it's better to concentrate on upgrading a product or service or something before you start all of that marketing. Or what I try is like, do the marketing and we want to get better, so we need customers to get feedback or something like that.
And that's fine. You just got to do it on a small scale, right? You can't then just blow it up immediately. But you're dead right. And the same applies to agencies. It's like when the way I started, and I recommend a lot of people start, is you get that $250 a month client, because when you're getting started, you don't want a client that's like, here you go, our budget is 100 grand a month. Off you go. That's terrifying. You might waste that. You might not know what you're doing. You need experience to deal with that sort of stuff. So you're starting small. It's a similar sort of process. Run some campaigns, get a bit of customer feedback, and then actually do the work to improve your offer. And there are easy ways to improve offers as well. Like, how are you going to beat your competition? One of the easiest ways for a lot of small businesses is just like smash customer service. Like, just be way better than the big company, because that's easy. They're terrible with their phone systems, things like that. Get it done in half the time. You know, there are simple, cost-effective ways to really improve an offer. Get it done in half the time is a great example.
I remember for freelancers or agencies, often, or like the feedback I personally got and that I gave is like, don't let the customer client wait 2 or 3 days before he gets an email back from you. If you manage it to get an email back on the same day, you'll have an unbelievable upscale, because people want to feel like, hey, they're there for me. Even if the email is just, listen, we look into it, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Just like that. That's enough to like already be way ahead of the others. Just definitely. Something like, for example, that I experienced. If you like this clip, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see another clip, click here. Or if you want to see the whole interview, click here.